This beautiful 2004 Competition Orange Mustang Mach 1 turned up for sale on the 2003-2004 Mach 1 Facebook page, and the car is stunning. Now, it looks beautiful, and it is beautiful, but something very special about this Mach 1 is that it only has 64.5 miles on it. I think this is an incredible find. I know that these cars' value are all over the place. You have high mileage ones that people want a lot of money for. You have mid-range cars that people want even more money for. Some people let them go cheap. Some people trade them in. Some people just sell them to get rid of them. Some people want to get something new. So the values of these cars is really hard to determine, and it all depends on what somebody's willing to pay for it in the end. Now, the sad thing was on this Facebook page, there were 50-something comments, and there was a big fight going on, and people saying that car is not worth what they're asking. The owner was asking $24,000 for the car. And a lot of people were saying that's not going to be worth that much, and a lot of other people got in there and said the one at Scottsdale with 6 miles sold for $36,000, and actually that same car, it was still in the plastic, but it had actually sold for $50,000 a few years before that. I know I had seen that same car go through. So it depends on if the right buyer is in the room at the auction, but these cars are definitely worth a lot of money to certain people. I think that these cars will go up in value, especially one with only 60-something miles on it. Yeah, they had complained and said that the plastic wasn't on the seats anymore and that somebody had bought the car and driven it a little bit, but basically they probably drove it home and then maybe took it out once in a while. So a car like this is fantastic. You have to think too that whoever bought this car paid probably $30,000 when all was said and done, with taxes, license, registration, everything, and they're getting rid of it at a loss. They barely drove the car, and they're taking a loss on the car. They've garaged and kept it for all those years too. If you put storage fees in there, that car costs them a lot of money to keep. Now, I know people have a garage and it's part of their house and it's not costing them really anything to keep it, but somebody has taken good care of it and kept it garaged and covered. And it's also important to remember that in 2004, your dollar bought a lot more than it does today. So with inflation, this car definitely should be bringing in more money than what it was back then, especially since new it was about $30,000. And in today's money, that would be more like $40,000 or $50,000. So I think that should play into the factor of the price too. So this is a beautiful car. You don't come across this every day. 24,000, yeah, you could buy a Terminator, a pretty nice Terminator for that money, and that's what a lot of people would do instead. But for those people who love Mach 1s, especially Competition Orange, I think this was an excellent option for someone to get, and somebody did buy it. The car did end up selling. I don't know what it sold for, but the people on Marketplace on this Mach 1 Facebook page were pretty rude about it, telling him he's $6,000 over and that he's not going to get that for it, and it's actually too bad. And I saw another Comp Orange that sold on eBay recently with 23,000 miles, and it sold for $21,000. So I'd say 60-something miles for a pristine Mach 1. I think 25,000 or whatever they sold it for is an excellent price. So here's a beautiful car. You don't see this every day. Just wanted to talk about that for a minute. You could go through on the Facebook page and search Orange on the 2003-2004 Mach 1 page, and you'll see there have been a handful of them listed for pretty high prices, and I think this car was one of the nicest ones out there. But boy, this was a beautiful looking car, very great shape. The seats just looked absolutely perfect. If you look at the comfort weave, which is the center sections of the seats, it is still 3D. It is still has the lines in it, those bumps in the middle, especially where you sit, those usually get completely flat. All the Mach 1s I've ever had were completely flat there where you sit. My lowest mile Mach 1 I bought with 75,000 miles on it. And so to see that comfort weave that actually has that bumpy look to it is really amazing. The interior was just flawless. It's brand new. This is as close to new as I think a lot of people will ever get. The mileage was so low, and it just looked great. There's nothing to complain about. I think this is a good opportunity, and when you find a car like this, you can't really complain if it doesn't have the original battery or things that collectors want. I think it still has the stock Goodyear tires on it. So anyway, beautiful car. I hope somebody, whoever bought this car, enjoys it and they enjoy having it. And that's one more little thing I want to touch on is some people say, oh, that guy, he bought it for 30,000. He only drove it a couple times and he's wasted it. He never enjoyed it. Well, I think a lot of people enjoy things in different ways. I think you can enjoy a car without having to drive it. You can go in your garage and look at it every day and be excited that you have it. You can go talk to people at a car show and tell them you have a original competition orange Mach 1 with 60 miles on it, and they will be really excited, and you can be excited and proud of that. So I think people need to realize that other people enjoy things differently, and you can't really jump on people for not driving their cars if that's important to them. If they want to have a low mile car and they pride themselves in having one that's pristine and just like new, that holds value to them. You don't have to drive it to enjoy it all the time. I think that's kind of the mentality that people have when they collect model cars. They just like having it and they like looking at it. But anyway, this is a little story about a competition orange Mach 1. If anyone knows where it is or if you own this car, put it in the comments, let me know, because I think it's really neat and I'm proud of whoever bought this car. I think it was a good purchase. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you're not already on here and like the video.